Hey guys, so coming on and gonna do a little something springy with our UV resin light and UV resin. I have the Let's Resin UV High Viscosity UV Resin and the Let's Resin Duo Light. If you haven't watched previous tutorials and so forth, I just like to give a quick recap of what I'm using so that you understand. This is a duo light, so it lights from the bottom and the top, and it just gives a whole better cure. There is a tray. This tray is very dirty, but it works to our advantage because now you can see the tray slides in there. So we'll be working with that. So to start this one, I am going to build us a little UV resin tape platform, just because I need that UV tape to help hold our pieces that we would use to build our earrings, basically. So these are two plastic popsicle sticks. They do well in holding our tape there, and I built it upside down so that I could then have it flat and then flip it. Now I probably grabbed a couple little pieces off of our tray or our shelf thing here, but that's okay. I'm gonna stay away from them. I'll just probably put a fingerprint in there, but that's okay. We're gonna dome and so forth, so I'm not overly stressed out and worried about that. Now for our base coat, I want to mix a little bit of silver mica and put in the base of these. That's going to give me a base that is not distracting with what we're doing, but hopefully enhances what we're doing. So this is a silver soap dye, technically, is on the label, but essentially it's a mica powder. It doesn't take much. We probably even got a little bit more mica to resin than we need, but that's okay. And we're just gonna slowly mix that in to get as much as the powder mixed in with the resin. And this is a silicone. It's actually a silicone tip nail art, typically you would see. I believe, though, I found it at Hobby Lobby on clearance, and I thought, oh, that's a cute little silicone brush to use with my UV resin projects. And truthfully, my resin projects, I could use it too. So I'm going to start with trying to put about the same amount in each of these. Now these are metal bezels for earrings. You'll notice that there is an earring circle at the top to give us a spot to hold on to our earring hook. And in theory, the tape should help prevent this resin from floating underneath. May not be 100%, so just be aware that, oh lordy bee, let's just flop that right around, that you may have a little bit of cleanup as far as getting that edging just right if you don't like how it is, if it leaks under, essentially. And I'm going to just take my UV resin up to the edge, and I'm trying to go in the center there, and basically painting the resin on up to the edge and fill it in. It will self-level, but you have to realize UV resin is pretty thick in a lot of ways, so it's not gonna spread out like your regular resin might, especially if you're used to working with a thin viscosity. This is not going to spread out like a thin viscosity would. It's definitely a lot thicker. And so just bringing us to our edges, and then it will sort of self-level itself from there. So, y'all know I don't like to waste, so I'm just trying to kind of put as much in, and the silicone against this little silicone cup make a huge difference. Okay, so we'll put that under, and then we can kind of clean up these tools here. So this is, and it's going to be a little bit different than some of my other tutorials where I start a bunch of projects and have to block our light because I'm doing 10,000 projects. I'm really just going to stick with just this one. At least that's what I'm telling myself right now. Okay, just this one. This is all we're allowed to do. And that's just fine. I just wanted to come on, do a quick tutorial to make some cute little earrings. So, spring earrings. This is rubbing alcohol. It's actually 99%. If you haven't seen the other videos, the recap is this is an Equate bottle because of the nozzle. I love it. Or the spout. But I buy it from Amazon. And I just refill that bottle because it's the best. Now, I didn't wear gloves when I pulled out the mica, so you might notice that I've got a little bit of a shimmer going. It will just rub off. And I'll wash my hands, of course. But a little bit of rubbing alcohol right onto my silicone tips, and that cleans it up. You could throw this under the light, let that cure, and then that would just pop out. Or you can take your rubbing alcohol paper towel and just wipe it out as well. These little cups are the bomb diggity for sure. I love them. They are amazing. Now, we're going to probably want a little pair of tweezers just because we are working with some really tiny pieces of flowers. So, these are my favorite, but they're kind of bent, but that's okay. They're my favorite. And I see a bubble in a bubble in each of them, ironically almost in the same spot. That's okay. It'll be fine. We're going to pretty much cover these with flowers, but you just kind of never know how it's going to be until you get it going. Truth, that light turns off and you're like, whew, I feel oh so much better because it's off. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Just kind of looking at what I have. So those are beautiful. I'm going to bring them up so you can see them. So see? So there's a little bubble right about there. We'll make sure to cover. And there's another one that's like right in here. It's hard to see on the camera. But those turned out cute. And they're solid. So I wouldn't go like stabbing them. But, you know, for this purpose, it's not bad. So these are little dried flowers, real dried flowers that I was able to pick up on Amazon. So I'll definitely link it. And the first step that we're going to do is we're just going to get some clear on here. Now, it's not going to take much, so I'm just going to go kind of like in the middle, just briefly, and then kind of up and around the sides. And then I'm going to go ahead and use our little silicone tool to spread that around. These are almost just pretty the way they are, aren't they? I'm liking that. Well, it's pretty. You could do some, I mean, your options are literally endless when you're talking resin in general. But like, this has used such little resin and you could make so many from it, truly. Now, I see some little micro bubbles kind of forming. So, if you take a lighter and very carefully so that you do not light your project on fire, you can typically pop those pretty easily. Okay. So, I have the dried flowers, but then I also have these clear stickers. So these are a sticker sheet, and they're clear, so you end up with a clear, it's not even a sticker, it's just a clear film. So I'm going to very carefully cut out this dark blue, and I have a second sheet that I'm going to do the same. But basically, because it's clear, you shouldn't see our edges when we put this in here. And it already has kind of a little cut on it. So what I'm going to do is this is going to just help give us some color in the back without too much flower. So we'll layer some on top of that, but you'll still be able to see it. That right there is darn stunning. Okay, so I have a second one that looks the same. So instead of a actual flower, this is just like this clear, what do I want to call it? Cellophane, essentially, because it's not even a sticker. And it's just a nice thin layer. Now, there was like some little white flower that was on this one corner, so I had to make sure I cut it off of both of them. So I want to mirror the images or the design. So this one, and I'm touching the top of the sticker, or it's not a sticker, y'all. The top of whatever that flower is. Okay. And I'm moving it, so I'm not getting UV resin. On my fingers, if you're worried about that, definitely put gloves on or finger cots, and you'll be good. You'll be golden. Okay, so here's the key. I don't want to overwhelm us on this at all, but I want to get a lot of pops of color in it, which that's a pop for sure. I'm loving it. I was like, I almost wish I had put this leaf under it, but you know what I'm going to do? There's this like feathery leaf here. And what I'm going to do is this. You're going to see me do it. Because we're building this layer. So I'm sorry if this is kind of hard to see. It's just because it's really small and fine and clear, and I have to have it close enough to me that I can see it. So I'm going to basically just cut this pretty leaf right down the center stem of it so that I end up with two halves. I can't even hold on to it, and I don't even know which way it is. Okay, that's just the little clear cellophane is gonna probably drive me crazy. Not gonna lie. But essentially, what I want to do is have it go up this side so that it almost looks like it's peeking out here, and it will get covered, but that we have somewhat. I actually might move it. You know that worst feeling that you hear a child or a dog maybe throwing up? Just thought I heard my dog throw up, so I jumped. But I think he was just being a turd and trying to get into something he wasn't supposed to. So some of our resin's coming up over that as I'm shifting it, which is fine. We're going to do a top coat anyway. Everything's fixable. Everything is fixable. Come on. There we go. we'll probably put a flower right here. So that will be perfect. Doesn't have to be 100%. Nature's not 100% perfect, so we don't have to be 100% perfect, okay? Okay. Well, pep talk us through that. All right, so my next question to myself is, so I really did not plan all this out by any means. We are just improvising as we go. So I want to make sure I get some yellow in here, and I would love to get some pink or purple in it. So I'm just seeing what I have as far as matching that I could get each of those. So this kit is great because it's got a lot of variety and some matching. So you just have to find what you're looking for. And tweezers are usually the best. I'm afraid that might almost be too big because it's gonna be poofed up and I need something flatter. Because these really aren't as thick as I thought they were going to be. I'm going to stick that in the silicone. That way when it cures, it's just fine. It's all good. I might have to do a sticker. It's not a sticker. I'm going to have to look up what those are because I can't get it straight. I'm going to have to probably put a cellophane one. I'm going to cut this guy right in half also. Well, kind of in half. So that I can put him right here. Oh, came off. Okay. Like that. Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. Oh, so pretty. Oh, so pretty. What yellow? Ooh, I see what yellow I want. I found it. I found it. Sometimes you just got to keep looking at what you have and then find it. So this is just the whole pack, and it's kind of a pain how they're packaged, not gonna lie, because when you pull this out, it's just all gonna come out. So I can't do it over in front where y'all can see, because I will likely end up with something on our project that we don't want. One of the little flowers I saw that could have worked till it crumbled, but this one right here is in good condition. And I have another pack of this if I can't find another. So it's either going to go there or up there, but I think it's going to go like right here. The only thing I'm worried about is this area. Do I need to give it something? Never pop a pink. We should definitely look at doing a pop of purple. Y'all, help me out here. I mean, I do kind of like the top of that, so maybe I'm not going to add one up there. I'm going to do a pop of purple down here, and I think I see which one I want to do, but let me just look at my others. Some of these might be repeats. It's sometimes hard to tell what you have, what you don't have. Let me just make sure I don't have any other purple pops that I want to do. Okay. So I'm going to use this pop of purple right here. Almost sounds like I'm saying papa. No, it's a pop of. And I think it will need to go down before the yellow because of how big it is. Okay. So I'm going to take off these corners because one, we don't need them, but two, I don't like hard corners like that. And let's see, we want to go this way with it to give us the most of it. I'm going to use our tweezers to put this one down just so that I can get it where I want it to be. Actually, I might do it this way, and then the yellow flower is going to go over it, so you're not going to maybe notice that it's not both these tweezers. Like, yeah. See, that one is definitely done. I like it. Now, I see some resin seeping over the edge, which is ultimately fine. We could fix it, but there's no need to give ourselves extra heartache. So we just go ahead and tuck it back on, and we're good. And then that gives us a great way that that pop of purple pulls in without overtaking. Now I'm going to have a little bit of lip on this. I may have to just sand it down. Ooh, okay. I mean, you're awful pretty, and I like you, but that's not where you're going. And we're going to stick you over here just so that you don't get stuck to everything else. Okay. Let me see if I can see the another one of those. Or this pack might be Gen 4. Yep. Okay, let's pull our other pack. Please, 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 let there be that flower in there. And I don't think there is. Y'all! I might end up screaming. I don't see that. Oh, there's maybe this one right here. Oh my goodness. Let's see. If I open it this way, I think I can get to it without having to worry about it breaking. Because that's what happened the last time, is when I pulled it out, the one that was at the bottom just like disintegrated. Oh, I have to pull the whole thing out. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to show y'all this process without ruining what we got. This one might be a smidge different than the other one, but that's okay. I'm going to have to gently lay that down over here. I'm working one-handed. I'm going to zoom y'all in a little bit so you can see this last one go in. I know it hasn't been the best of video, just for sake of closeness, but look at that. I like it. Okay, before we end up messing up anything, we are going to just go ahead and slide this through. 2 minutes. My tray's not sitting in there. I don't know if I have it flipped wrong or what, but it's not laying perfectly in there. It's fine. It's all good. Okay, so these are stunning, but like I said, it's kind of hard to work with them. I have some that are out of the plastic and just in a, I'll show you guys. This is like one of those photo containers. It comes with like 16 of them or something, and then all is held in a case. And that works, but you can also see, I'm going to flip this, like how quickly, now these look gross on the underside, but it's hard to tell because that blue light anyway. But there's a lot of broken pieces and such, so I haven't found the best way to probably store those, but you know, sometimes you just have to kind of go with what you've got and work with what you have. So these don't fit perfectly when they're on the cardboard. Like I would have loved maybe like a pencil case would be wide enough to hold the packs of them so that you could put them back in your packs and then do that. Oh well, that's fine. And then these are just so, and they get staticky, and like look, you can get so many, but I found like probably just keep them on it, because if you take them off and like try to cut them all now, trying to find your matches would be nightmarish. So I don't know. Fellow crafters out there, if you have thoughts, I'm open and willing to hear how you store some of these finer pieces of your art. It's not even art, it's just your finer pieces to go in your art. So I think those three are in like an extra bag, and I was trying to shove them inside the same size bag, and that was not going to work. But these loose pieces, I think I can. Maybe get back in here. Look at this. All but this one, but we'll figure out where the opening is and we'll get it in there. So yeah, I'm open to thoughts, but that gives it these little baggies give it the stability it needs, because they're a little bit thicker than the cellophane that these are printed on. Oh, there's another loose one. Look at that. You gotta go in here somewhere. I don't really care where or how, but you gotta go. Cool, cool. Okay. Put those aside. Let's look at our pretty. Look how pretty they are. They're so pretty. Woo! Okay. So we're going to do a top layer of that with resin so that we can get those coated, and then we'll take them off and probably pop them back in for a final seal and see how sticky the backs are. We'll kind of go from there. So again, you don't want a ton, so I'm just trying to get enough on that we can do like so. And then using our silicone brush, we can come all the way up to the edge, kiss the edge, but don't go over the edge is the goal. Sometimes I end up going over, and that's okay. It's fixable. It's not ideal, but it is fixable. So we just know that. I really like those. Those are really very pretty. I'm just trying to get up in that top part just so that we fully fill that in. That one was not covered, that flower, at all, because it was very rough when I brushed across it. So you want to be kind of careful, you know, with your real flowers especially, to make sure that you're not breaking them apart. Now, it was pretty stuck on the base of the earring, but it definitely could have damaged or pulled it up a little bit. Now, because I'm the artist, I can definitely see the lines of those cellophane pieces and some little imperfections because of that, especially with the lighter. But if you were the everyday buyer, I don't think that you would notice that. I always find those, for me, I find those little details that as an artist really can sometimes bug me majorly, but try to not let them. Easier said than done. Oh, here we got our tray in there. Okay, let's let those seal up. And I have a couple straggler flowers that decided to try to be on our mat. So I'm just gonna pop them in here. They're not anything big, but they might be something that gets at some point filled in somewhere. You never know when you might need a little one. I'd even pulled like these, thinking I might use, because I wouldn't use the big green part, but I would use like some of those littles. But that was so thin of a piece. I really wanted to keep it as thin as possible. Anyway, so I just rolled with the item that we were working with. Might need our resin still just yet, so we'll hang tight. Typically I would start something else, and this is where I would get myself super distracted onto whatever else I wanted to do, and then we don't even finish one. So that's why I'm trying to stick with one and done tonight. But I am cleaning up some of the workspace as I do that. You'll know I keep this silicone mat down, which is phenomenal. If you see the color and haven't watched previous ones, there's a puzzle under here. I needed the space. I'll hold this up so you can kind of see. Isn't that pretty? I needed this big of a space to do this puzzle. So I had moved my craft space out of this area and made it my puzzle spot. And then when I went to bring everything back over, I was like, why would I take the puzzle apart? Let's just keep it under my mats. Took me long enough to put the puzzle together. Might as well try to keep it somewhat. Not trash from other projects over here. It is always the longest 2 minutes too when you're just doing that one project, which is why I typically start another. Okay. Y'all see these? These are really stunning. Love them. Okay. So, in theory, they should just kind of peel right off. Now remember, you're using, I've heard people complain, like, well, it's stuck to my tape. Well, that was the idea of using your tape. Yes, it's stuck to your tape. And truthfully, a little bit of my tape kind of peeled off on the back here, but I think it's fixable if we can get the camera to focus. See that blue? I think it's fixable. And just take it nice and easy, and your tape rolls are, you know, peels back like this. This piece is not going to move. It is solid. So sometimes I would maybe try to use that tape again, but you can tell where those have been. I'm not going to worry about it. I have so much UV tape right now. It's crazy. I don't need to worry about it. Okay, let me see if that's going to focus for you. It's kind of hard sometimes when you're filming because you're like, okay, am I in focus for the camera? But I also need to focus on the piece itself and not look through the camera to see if it's focused. These may not be the best tweezers for this. Let me just see if my nail... You know what we're going to do? We're not going to keep doing this. This is just crazy. We are going to get out our little Dremel. And I'm going to try one more thing. Yeah. And if this works, I'll bring it up to the camera so you can see it. It's just a needle. Nope, it's going to take way too long. Okay. back to plan number 2. I think is what it was. Where? There it is. I was like, where are my pieces? Okay, you guys see me use this little gadget probably all the time with other products, and I absolutely love it. So, it's a little Dremel tool. Yeah, I turned on to loosen this. It's just like a drill would be. I don't think this piece fits in that. Nope. I need this one. This goes back on. This goes down in that hole. Tighten this. Keep pushing that in as we go to make sure it's nice and tight around it. This holds our little sanding tool. And then, oh, you guys probably couldn't see a dang thing that I just did. So, because of that, just go watch one of the other videos where I do this, okay? Sorry. I will link the Dremel tool so you know that I've used it in the video. But it's just going to be a light dremeling on the back here to take that tape right on off. That was left, that tape residue. Now it's a little tacky because of that tape residue. So that will take the tacky off, and then we'll just throw a thin coat of clear on top to shine up our resin. That is the beauty of resin. If you scuff it, you just add a little shine in it. Oh, don't to the front. Did I scratch the front? Nope. We are good. That was close. That was oh so close. I may want to do one more top layer though on it. Looking at it. I'm going to go ahead and stuff up this. Oh, that was terrible nice. And that one I came over, scuffed a smidge, but not noticeable. I'm going to put this back in view so then I know where I'm at for you guys when I'm sitting down there. So it took that right off of the last one, and it's doing that on this one. It's just taking it. Oops. And I'm on the lowest setting with this. Now the battery is probably not fully charged, but you really don't need it to be faster. I'm not trying to get a super hard grind on it. There's a little bit right there. Just wind it down. Oh, these are stunning, y'all. These are so stunning. Okay. Perfect. That's all we needed. It has 3 settings, but... Alright. So, this is what we're going to do so that we don't have to deal with the tape issue. I don't know if any of my 80s, 90s babies remember this stuff, but this blue tacky stuff, we used to put it on the back of pictures to make them stay flush to the wall. You would still use your nail, but then you would use this stuff to keep it to the wall. I'm going to do the back side first, and here's why. That way if I mess up the front side, we're doing the front side last, so the back side is the one that's messed up. Okay? I like my theory. So I'm just putting a little bit of that blue tacky stuff on to make it stick to my plastic tray here that's going to go into the UV light. And just, it doesn't take much, but you want enough that it's, when it sticks to the front of that you can get it off pretty easily. So that's why I'm getting a nice good little chunk, and I'm pushing it as flat as can sort of be, but not flat. But just making sure these are level. That's the biggest thing. And it's not going to take much, but it's going to take enough. And it's going to take us a little bit to spread that out. So we don't want it to be unlevel. So, like, we're going to be getting that under the light pretty quickly. But because we need a little bit of work time, gotta give ourselves an advantage of being as level as we can. It's not gonna be per se exact, but that's okay. And I probably, honestly speaking, did probably a little bit too much resin for the back side, just because you really don't need to dome the back side. We're just more doing it to make this pretty surface again. So that's all we're doing. Just because we had some not so pretty surface where we scuffed it. But rather than sitting there trying to get that tape off, oh golly, let's just remove the bad thing off. And then I thought, oh, I have a Cricut weeding pin that's just essentially a needle. And I thought, oh, maybe that would work. And then, like, no. What are you doing? Just get your Dremel out. It's fine. That's fine. That's why you have the Dremel. It used to be that I would do something like that, and it was so tough to figure out how to fix it. But now that I have the Dremel, it's not difficult to fix. The hardest part was switching out the sand part. The fan is on in here, which is probably not a good thing when you have a lighter, because it's trying to blow it. And again, you don't want to get too close because you don't want to set your resin on fire. Okay? You do not need to have a science experiment in your craft space. Right? Alrighty. Yay, I'm so excited. I was like, where did this lid go? Okay. We good. We good. I don't know which side I've used, but we'll get that cleaned up. I just wiped it with a paper towel. Didn't even have rubbing alcohol on it. But when I clean it here in a minute, I will do rubbing alcohol on it as well. Oh, these are going to be so pretty, y'all. Like, so pretty. I'm going to go ahead and get us jump rings and everything, because we are just going to make these pretty vivid all the way up. And normally I would wait to do this part till they've had a good 24 hours to cure, but I'm feeling like I just want this tutorial completely done. Y'all, completely done. So we'll get all of our stuff for that. Some pliers. Handy. Oh, I've been looking for my back scratcher. That's funny. It's in my craft stuff. Not really the spot that I would have pegged that I would have put it, but hey, okay. Cool. Alright, come on. I mean, 2 minutes is really not long, is it? But by golly, when I'm crafting, I keep going. I don't have patience, y'all. Why I decided resin crafts were for me, because I don't have patience. Oh my goodness, it's getting late too. It's okay. We're almost done. They're going to be so pretty. They're going to be so pretty. I don't want to rush the UV light, especially where I'm going to put these together really quick, because I really don't want to have fingerprints all over them. And I'll probably, with that said, I am going to find some finger cuts and throw on, because I don't want to have fingerprints all over. So, finger cuts. I will not say the word that they look like, but everybody probably knows what they look like. And you roll them on. I already have my jump ring on, but I only need that tip. Anyway. And I find that they're pretty tight, so I wouldn't wear these for a long time. But for what we're doing, it's going to be perfect. Don't mind that the ring light is so bright. Okay, so pull those off. Now here's the one disadvantage of our blue sticky stuff, is when it's hot, it gets really sticky and stretchy. So You have to just pick up the glob, and kind of do that thing where you just keep popping it and it will come up. So don't panic. It does not like finger cuts though. So I should have almost done that before having the cuts on, but that's okay. Y'all. Sometimes, not that I'm gloating, because I'm not a gloater by any means, but sometimes I'm like, I totally outdid myself. And this is one of those times. I'm like, I really feel like I outdid myself on this one. These are so pretty. Okay. Got those as level as I think I'm going to get them. And we are going to put the top layer on here. But yeah, they're, I mean, obviously, as the artiste, I see some imperfections. Always. But overall, I really, really feel like these have come out so stunning. And try not to rush myself and imperfect them. And this will come out after Easter, so I hope everybody had a wonderful Easter, however you might celebrate. As my youngest says, it's her favorite holiday. I tend to agree with her. I really enjoy Easter. I love all the decorations. It's something about spring. Her and I are both March babies, so maybe it's a spring thing of like, Easter is spring, new beginnings. The flowers are blooming, the birds are chirping, and it's just beautiful. Okay. Popper bubbles that I see. I have one that's, I think, under the surface a little bit, so I may need to play a little bit to get that one up and out. If it's in this layer or the other layer that's a part of. And I'm bringing my brush back just to where I have my paper towel as I do those sides. I know I overflowed just a smidge there. I can see a bump, but just making sure I haven't anywhere else. There's definitely 2 bubbles there. I still did not want to pop. Well, one did. I should take that back. That one's on the surface. Why are you not popping? Like, dude. Oh, there's a hair. Like, I can't blast you anymore with heat. I'm afraid I'm going to catch the resin on fire. And I don't want to show that science experiment tonight, especially because these are already. Okay. Another challenging thing is, like, yes, you gotta work quick, but you want to make sure that you get all the things handled. All the details. Make sure that it's not overflowing. Oh, I just blew that out. Make sure that it's got bubbles popped. Okay. It's going to be as good as it's going to be. Alrighty. Oops. Slide it in. Not take apart our resin light. And then dose minutes. And then I will, let's see. I should get just a black piece of paper so that y'all can really see these. Make these pop. And for when I'm putting them together, it'll be easier for you to see. I'm trying to think when they're on the earring, they could just be put right on. But I think it will look better with a jump ring in between. Okay. I just had to think that one through. Well, we have 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Not even. We're almost done. Not that that's a good thing per se, but it's just, you know what I mean. I can't stand the 2 minutes. Nor can y'all hear me complaining about the 2 minutes, right? You're like, we get it. I'm like, I know. I'm sorry. It's popping. I want to time it sometime. Like, is it truly 2 minutes, or does it tell you it's 2 minutes and it's like 3 minutes? Because, yeah. It's probably not, but, you know. Look at these. Don't mind the dirty tray or the ring light reflecting. But, let's move this out of our way. Let's put this down here. And let's just zoom you. I'm going to zoom you in and then I'll get you centered. How's that sound? Because it's easier to move the project and center it. Although I'm going to bring you a little off center because the ring light is creating such a reflection tonight. But, okay. Off of here, remember that's going to be sticky because it's warm. But if you get it picked up, it's literally a couple taps. And if it weren't stuck into my finger caught, and if I weren't trying to use my left non-dominant fingers, and fingers that aren't even dominant fingers, you know what I mean. This one pretty much just stayed to the back of it. Okay. I promise I'm not trying to flip y'all off, but my middle finger is the strongest finger that is clear of a finger caught. Okay, so here, I'll take that tray out of there so it's not as reflective. Oh, lovely stuff on there. Here's the back sides. That is pretty. Like, even that's pretty. But then we flip it over and we have this stunning pair of earrings that we are going to make. Look at this. On that black background. And we're reflecting that ring light so much within the resin because it's so shiny. I'm wondering if I turn on my flash. Sometimes that helps. Yeah. Look at it. Stunning. Like I said, I feel like I somewhat outdid myself here. Okay. So if you only are interested in the resin part, we're done. But if you want to see how to bring this to the next step, stay tuned. Because we are going to finish these up. Almost look like, I don't know what I was seeing, but okay. That's good. So, I'm wearing the finger cots because if you start touching this resin before it's fully cured, which, yes, it's cured, but a full cure, I would give it at least 12 to 24 hours just to fully set. I don't know what the instruction says because it's been so long since I read it. Okay? Honestly speaking. Now, I am going to add the tiniest jump ring. And I know that sounds a little ridiculous, but I do want just a smidge of space between the earring hook and the earring. I just want to give it the earring its full due, and I want that little bit additional space. So, but I don't want to take away from it, so I do have very tiny jump rings, as you can see. Now, a jump ring is a ring that jumps open. I have a jump ring open and closer because it is easier that way to do this. You're going to be able to loop it in, and we're going to loop our earring piece in as well. But if I add just one jump ring, then my earring piece doesn't lay correctly. So, and I don't want to do two because I feel like that takes away from that piece. So I am just turning my loop that's at the bottom of my earring piece sideways. Now, if you have one that's been messed and really tight, the metal could break. I've done it. Don't be alarmed. It happens. Okay. You gotta think a little bit. This is our front, of course, with the flowers over here. So we want our hook to be at the back. So if I lay it like that, it should lay appropriately in the ear. Or just swing right on out of there. So, lay it like that. Just enough space to close that jump ring right back up. The trick with jump rings is don't open them too far. You don't want to have them open too far. You want them just enough space to get what you need accomplished. And look at that. Okay. So, remember we're going to turn this to sideways. And I'm so glad I didn't break either one of them, because I only pulled the two out. Not that I could have gotten another one, but just saying. It saved me having to pull my, I was going to say pull my suitcase out. Pull my toolbox out. That has some. I did just travel, so I'm like, yeah. I landed about this time last night, so I'm still, you know, making it here, you know. Came home, worked today, sick kiddo, like, whew, okay. So time for a little craft night. Oh my gracious. Those are just so gorgeous, y'all. I mean, stunning. Stunning. Oops, I hit the tray. Look at that. Get into focus, camera. Yes. Look at those. They're so pretty. And they'll lay. They're so light, too. Like, these are so light. I still ended up getting a fingerprint on it somehow. But, like I said, I can see the line of some of the cellophane pieces, but overall, and really you don't see the fingerprint unless you're in that bright light, but overall they're so light, and you put them in your ear and they'll face forward. Oh, they're precious. I love them. I love them. Well, I hope you guys love them as much as I clearly do. I hope you have a wonderful night. I hope you had a great Easter. And I hope you choose something joyful in your life. And just have a great rest of the week. And I will see you guys again real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.